3 months ago, I was playing one of my favorite mobile games, Cats and Soup. And the whole game is just you watching cats make soup. And mobile ads. You're also watching a fuck ton of mobile ads. I literally spent more time watching mobile ads than actually playing the game. But as I was watching my 5,000th mobile ad that day, I had an interesting thought. What if I played every game that I saw an ad for? I did end up following through on that challenge, so that means that for the last 3 months, every time that I see a mobile game, I have to download and play that game to see what it's all about. And so today, I just wanted to talk about some of the most interesting things that I've found on my journey for the last 3 months. And one of the most interesting things that I found about the mobile game industry was in these anime gacha games. And what I learned about them is that most of them are actually just borderline porn. Just look at some of the gameplay for Nikki, one of the biggest gacha games in mobile gaming right now. It is the most degenerate, Kumar shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Anyone who's saying, oh, I play Nikki because of the story, it's just really interesting and deep. Really? Is this the interesting and deep gameplay that you're talking about? In fact, let me just show you how easy it is to appeal to some of these animals. Nikki players, does this turn you on right here, huh? You like that, don't you? Yeah, you sick fuck. And the way that some of these gacha games convince players to spend their money is outrageous too. Say for example that there's this really OP character in a mobile game and that you really want it, but in order to actually reliably get it, you'd have to spend, 3 weeks grinding up in-game resources and you'd have to play about 5 hours a day non-stop. And that sounds pretty stupid, but the saddest thing is that there's people who will actually do it. These animals will sit here and spend real money and hours of their time just to get some virtual anime woman. And listen, alright, I'm not hating too much, but all I'm saying is that if you're so horny that you would spend hundreds of hours just farming for what is essentially 2 big circles, then I think you're really down bad, and not only that, but you're behind on the loop. Like me personally, what I could do is I could open up nhentai.net, spend 60 hours a week on there, and by the end of it, you would only have 1 virtual anime woman, and I just did it to 1,800 of them. But another amazing thing that I gained from this entire journey was that I got a chance to execute my dream scientific experiment. Basically, say that there's a room with a button in it, and there's a sign that says, press this button to get $5. And at the bottom of the sign it says, oh yeah, you also get electrocuted. And so you press the button and a $5 bill pops out, and that's pretty awesome. And then you get electrocuted and that hurts like hell. But now my question is, how many times would you press the button? Now, I'm sure that you'd have all sorts of results. Like some people who aren't in need of money would probably press it once or twice. People who aren't well off would probably shock themselves enough times to make rent for the next month. And some masochists would probably button mash and farm hundreds of dollars off of it if they could and have the greatest experience of their entire lives. But this is where the experiment gets interesting. At the end of the session, there will be a questionnaire. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being you loved it, how much did you enjoy your time in the fun zone? And my hypothesis is that people who press the button once or twice would probably put a 1 out of 10, but the people who press the button several times, maybe even hundreds of times, would probably rate it much, much, much higher. And this is just a theory, of course, it's a scientific theory, but I'd be super curious to see if the results are as I predicted. Now, when I tried proposing my brilliant scientific experiment to various institutions around the country, I got rejected every time and they all said, oh, you just want to watch people get electrocuted. Which is true, but they didn't have to say it. But thanks to mobile games, I got to test my hypothesis. Something that I realized is that mobile games that offer a lot of ads but give you a reward at the end of them very rarely have complaints. In fact, they often have very high reviews on the App Store, which means that these players willingly watch mobile ads, which is a very painful part of gaming, for a reward, and not only did they think that the ads were not a problem, but they enjoyed every second of it, and they loved the game even more. Cats and Soup is one of these games. As I was mentioning earlier, I spent more time watching ads than playing the game itself, but since these ads were optional, I found myself enjoying the game more and more, even though I was clicking on so many mobile ads. Now you may be asking yourself, what does this all mean? I don't really know, you tell me. I mostly just want to draw people getting electrocuted, but that's about it. But let's move on and talk about my favorite game that I found right here on this journey, and my favorite game by far was an app called Impulse. It's basically supposed to be a brain training game and it's made to help you get smarter, but it's filled to the brim with these cheap mobile games. And I can't really complain because now I can basically play these horrible mobile games and I can feel smart doing it. And that's what I like so much about Impulse, this app, is that it's just like 30 awful mobile games wrapped into a neat little package. but you get to feel smart while doing it, and the app compliments you for doing these terrible games. It's like it's saying, oh look, you're so smart for completing these puzzles that are designed for 5-year-olds. Here, have another mobile ad as your prize. My favorite function on this app by far is the IQ test. And after taking it, it says that I have an IQ of 43. I mean 143 to be precise. Which means that I'm technically very gifted and I'm above 99.75% of the population in IQ alone. Anyways, the main reason as to why I made this video today isn't really to talk to you about mobile games or whatever, but it's mostly just to rub in all of your guys' faces that I have an IQ of 143, at least according to this test. So anytime that you want to look at one of my videos and tell me that I'm wrong or my opinion is bad, I challenge you. Look within yourself first, and realize that since you're not as smart as me in terms of IQ, you probably should shut the fuck up. Anyways, I gotta go, because I have a 5 o'clock appointment at NASA to lecture to them about spaceships. I'm sort of an expert on this subject. I really like spaceships. Anyways, my name is KFC Legends, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you 100 IQ losers in the next one. Later.